All right, guys, continuing with the Seiko love affair, we are looking at the spb240. This is the MM200 reduced, or the smaller one. I don't know what we're calling the MM200s. There's two different kinds. There's a larger one, and then this one, which I like this size better for my preferences right now anyway. So there's quite a few options. There's one that I'm actually looking at potentially even picking up. This one tempted me, but I don't know. I don't know if I get tired of the pink rose gold on this or not, but it is a beautiful combination with the brown for sure. So again, SPB240, you maybe didn't hear of it. This one is a little unique in the sense that it is actually labeled on the case back, and I'll show you. It says Seiko Boutique Special Edition. It's not a limited edition. It's not just a regular special edition. You have to buy them at the authorized dealers for Seiko only. That's where you're going to get them, at the boutiques. And I don't know how many they made, and I'm sure it's just going to be for this run, and then they're going to be done. So, and a lot of times with Seiko, these special editions like this tend to end up being more valuable potentially, just from my history lesson with dealing with these watches for such a long time. This one may or may not happen. I'm not saying it will, but they sometimes end up becoming more desirable later on down the road versus than like a traditional limited edition that maybe actually did 6,000 of them. I don't know how many they made of these. It might not be that many. We just don't know. But let's get into the case size on this. This is a 42 millimeter. Actually, I measure it like 42.1. So we'll still call it 42. The lug to lug is basically 49. It's actually like just a touch under 49. And the thickness, I like this about this watch. It's just barely under 13 millimeter. And the reason I know that's still like thick for a lot of people, because there are dive watches out there in like 12 and a half range. But keep in mind that like the Seiko SKX, this is like 13 and a half. So, and we all love these, right? So I think the MM200 reduced, this one, in my opinion, is kind of like my upgraded replacement for the SKX. I know we didn't get a replacement for the SKX. We got the 5KX, which is awesome too. But I really feel like this model is the one that resonates with me just as much as the SKX does. That's just, I'm keeping it real, guys. Like this one, not all of them, because there's like some blue dial ones I'm not really in love with, but the MM200 reduce like really works for me. 20 millimeter lug width, nice bracelet. It should be pin and collar. I didn't size this one, still brand new. And 20, and it tapers down to 18, and then you have a nice milled center section with a stamped outer clasp. 4 micro adjust, classic Seiko. You guys already know that I actually really like this clasp system. I know it's not milled or anything, but it's finished nicely. You have the 4 micro adjust, and then you have an oversized fold over keeper. I could do without the dive extension right here. I don't want them to reinvent it over here unless they're going to do something still thin. I don't want the clasp that's like on the MM300. So I'd rather have this over here. And the only reason this is here is to probably get some sort of ISO rating. Other than that, like, nobody ever uses that. And I know a lot of people don't like the way that sits on the wrist. I don't have a problem with it. I've always been able to size it, and it hasn't been a problem. Using the 6R35 movement, of course, 70-hour power reserve, 24 joules. Plus 25 minus 15 is the specs for the accuracy. You're going to have a screw down crown, 200 meter water resist. You get it unscrewed out there, and then you can have a nice little wind to it. The 6R35 actually feels pretty good to wind. And then of course, in the first position, you're going to be able to change the date. You pop it all the way out, stops the second hand, hacks the movement, we say. And then of course you can adjust the time. Not a problem. Then you go ahead and push that back in, and then screw the crown down and keep your 200 meter water resist. You have a 120 click bezel on this, and it is like a pink rose gold. I'll do a zoom in here in a minute. And then in that bezel, there's an insert, and it looks like ceramic, but what I've been told is it's actually like a stainless steel, and then it has the Seiko proprietary coating that they do that is like scratch resistant and actually looks like ceramic, but just holds its luster good. I don't know why they do that instead of ceramic. Maybe it's easier to keep that in-house, because you got to keep in mind, Seiko pretty much is like an in-house watch brand. The movement, the case, like I'm sure they source some things out, but everything that they can do in-house, they do. So maybe that's why they do the bezel insert. I don't know. I'm not that much in the know with Seiko. I don't know anybody over there. I'm pretty sure they watch my videos and adjust things based on my preferences, but I don't have an inside person there. I'm 100% making that up, guys. They don't care what I think or say. So if we zoom in, oh yeah, I think we'll be able to capture this. I wanted to get some natural light shots of these brown dial watches, guys, but I got to work with what I got here. So the rose gold colorway on this has a little bit of a pink hue to it. I know that sounds messed up to say that, but because I've handled a lot of like rose gold colored watches and actually some legitimate rose gold or ever rose gold watches, and this one has the right amount of pink to it. It's not some of them are like a little more red, I guess is what I'm getting at, and this one has the right amount of pink to it to give it the perfect tie-in with the brown tones of the dial. And they also did the coloring to kind of match it on the inlay of the bezel insert here. And then the handset, if you look at it, each hand, like they'll have a polish side and then a brush side, so it plays with the light a lot more, as you can see right there. When you do that, it kind of washes away, but like when you catch it in certain angles, the brushing really reflects the light good, and then the polishing actually looks brilliant. And then you have that awesome second hand that's easily my favorite second hand on Seiko watches, kind of like a little stoplight or something. Has the little red circle and then the almost like house-shaped outer part there. So beautiful indices on this, tons of lume in this, maybe a little off-white to kind of keep the warm tone of this. If they would have went stark white, it just wouldn't have looked right, I think. I want to show you that case back here real quick too, because I have not, I don't think, maybe I have. I don't know if I've ever, I can't vividly remember handling a Seiko where it actually said that on the case back. Seiko Boutique Special Edition. I could be wrong. Sapphire crystal, in case I forgot to mention too. Solid end links. Everything's just finished perfect on this too, guys. I mean, look at how sharp the lines are from the polishing to the brushing, and then that break along the flank or on the sides of this, that brushed piece right there, that really helps finish it, and it gives it more depth. I'm a big fan of that. All right, let's zoom back out. Let's operate the bezel. The absolute perfect amount of resistance for a Seiko bezel. Has a nice, clean, consistent clicky click, and it lines up. So good quality control on this one. Not all of them might have that, but let's pop it on wrist and see what it looks like. Again, not sized for my wrist. The bracelet isn't, but the watch is sized for my wrist perfectly. So in case you're wondering which one I'm after, I don't want to tell you because I don't want you guys to go buy them all. They only made 6,000 of them. Maybe you can figure it out. I'm hoping, I'm trying to get some things situated, and I'm hoping to maybe pick one up. But regardless, I am going to add an MM200 Reduce into my collection at some point. I don't know when it's going to happen. I got a lot of money going out right now, so it's going to be tough. But I definitely want to add one of these. I've completely fallen in love with the MM200. Of all the Seiko divers right now, the MM200 of their current line is my favorite. Here it is next to the Seiko SKX. In case you're wondering, you can see, I mean, it's still Seiko-esque. I mean, it has more of a curve to the case and stuff instead of, I guess you'd still call it cushion case, but it's totally different case design, obviously, but it's still just classic Seiko. All right, guys, let's kill the lights. Check the lume. And then I'm out of here. I try not to make these videos so long. How the heck do they do that? How do they do off-white, like cream-colored indices and hands, but then it glows cool blue? Like, I swear, Seiko's dealing with magic over there. Because anywhere else you do that, and you're going to have, like, green-colored lume, to usually get the cool blue like that, it's usually stark white in the daylight. I don't know. It's crazy. Here it is next to the SKX, so you can really see the difference between the green and the blue. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Lucido. Check them out. A link in the description. Lucido. They have 3 locations. I picked these up from Anthony at Rochester, so give him a call. Thanks.